The only way, number 13, the only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it. What do I mean?
Well, if you can avoid being confrontational, like if you can have like a conversation without like coming out like with the intention to argue, then it's better than arguing.
Without the intention to argue. What else?
How is the phrase going?
The only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it.
Maybe like,
I'll come back to you, yeah?
I was just gonna say, like, being like angry in your communication when you're upset isn't gonna yield what you want to get out of the situation.
So you're saying to avoid speaking about it?
No, I'm saying that when you're like really angry and screaming when in or not, like that kind of argument isn't gonna get you really where you want it to get to.
Right, for sure. So you need to calm down, right? So let's take like a 20-minute soothing break. I'm not leaving, right? It's very immature to be like, I can't deal with this. I'll see you soon, right? So I'm just going to go. I'm just going to take 20 minutes to myself. I'll be back. Again, the communication part, because you still have to deal with that. If you're feeling resentful, how do you know if you should approach an argument or not, or give criticism or not? The answer is, if it's still simmering in you, you need to deal with it, because things don't. If you keep shoving things under that rug, one day you'll open that rug when you're 50 years old and be like, okay, and now where do we even start? Right? So if something's still right, put it right back down, shove it right, and then it will be dealt with later. So that, a good point to know is like, you deal with it. If it's still in you, you need to speak about it. What I'm getting at though is, if you can avoid an argument, and it seems obvious, but it's such a chiddush, it's such an insight. If you can avoid an argument, just avoid it. When Korach was fighting with Moshe, right? Moshe Rabbeinu, like, how come what? You think you're familiar with this story? You think you guys are the only holy ones, you and Aaron and all your brothers? Kulam Kedoshim, we're all holy. And what did Moshe say? Go, we'll speak. First, he fell on his face. Moshe said, go, we'll speak in the morning. If you can push it off, this is, many of us feel like the need to totally prove ourselves and show ourselves that I'm right, you're wrong, to place the blame, right? We do that with children also, of like, who spilled the milk? Who cares who spilled the milk, right? What you say is, we're focusing on, it's not about me, it's not about you, it's about the situation, right? And the moment you take away the personal aspect, then all the defenses go down, because we feel the need to be very defensive. So instead of saying, who spilled the milk, all of a sudden my daughter's like, she did. She's like, she did. It's like, she can't even touch. And also it's like pointing fingers. It's not about that. Instead you say, oh, I see the milk spilled. Okay, who can get a tissue to clean it? I mean, let's focus on the solution. Right? But we feel the need I have to prove myself, I need to defend myself, right? It comes with Baal Tshuvas a lot also of like, well, how do you know that you have to wear skirts? Because pants are for women also nowadays, do you know that? How do you know God's true? And we feel the need, well, like, I'm religious now and I have to justify my lifestyle. Maybe not, right? I remember I once went to someone's house for Shabbos who they themselves are very, they love finding ways to prove that Judaism is not true. And I wanted to spend time with them. So I went, and before Shabbat, I told myself, the way to get best of an argument is to avoid it. And when he kept asking me questions, I just kept being like, I don't know, we'll get there, but like, hold on a second. Like, what have you been up to, right? Like, how's life? Like, meaning, how come when I haven't seen my sister in a year because I'm studying in Israel, all our conversations about how come I have to wear long sleeves to her wedding? Why is that what our conversation's about, right? Instead, how come you can't wear just my wedding? So we're like, well, really, I heard my rabbi told me, and my Rebbetzin even said, and why do you care anyways? What would happen if you just avoided it? And this is not, and this is obvious, not to avoid confrontation. This is not avoiding confrontation. This is just when we spoke about moods in the class, like recognizing people's moods, okay? If your boyfriend gets upset at you, listen, if he's upset and you need to speak about it, so speak about it. But if he's upset, like, where were you today? Like, I tried calling, you didn't answer your phone 5 times. So instead of what you need to hear what the person is saying, right? What are they actually saying? What just happened to me? A story happened similar this week. all right, I was teaching in a certain school, not here, and this girl came up to me after class, and she said, Mrs. Gersht, I just wanted to let you know that, my just examples that you use. My father is a manic schizophrenic who's depressive. I haven't spoken to him in 7 years. I've been in and she told me a lot. So she said, if you could just use, just the examples. So I didn't really use an example of a schizophrenic father in class, but I said, oh, okay, fine. So you just want me to be sensitive, not to use examples of what if you don't have a father or something like that. She goes, no, not that you don't have to use that example. And so I started discussing it with her. Then I went ding. She's not talking to me to tell me that to Mrs. Gersht, be careful which examples you use. She just wanted to share her story with me. She wanted to get close to me. She wanted to tell me, by the way, just so you know, this is where I come from. And the moment that I hopped that, I was like, 1 second, so where's your dad? Where have you lived? And she just totally opened up. Because it wasn't about that. So when your boyfriend says, I tried calling you 5 times today, where were you? What is he actually saying? Yeah, I miss you. Either I was worried or I missed you. I want to talk to you. So your response should just, again, we said when you just say, I'm sorry right away, it shuts the conversation down. Obviously, it has to come from the heart, right? It says, Devarim sheyotzim min halev nichnasim el halev. Words that come from the heart enter the heart immediately. So when you say, I'm so sorry, that must have been really frustrating. You tried calling me so many times. I'm really sorry. I really missed you today, right? All of a sudden, it just goes on. We don't even know this is going on, but all of a sudden he's like, I feel so understood. She gets it. She gets that I missed her today, right? As opposed to, I know, but I called you last night and your phone was off. Why did you turn your phone off? And then it just somersaults and snowballs into what we call a negative relationship. And then you're just fighting about what? It doesn't even matter what you're fighting about because you missed what he was saying, right? When your mother's saying, why didn't you call me? She's just saying, I missed you. Right? Where they're saying, clean up your room. She's just saying, aren't you 30 years old? Why am I still taking care of you? But instead, we get caught up. Didn't you see I put away my shirts? What? So you're getting upset that I have pants on the floor? Do you really think she's upset that you have pants on the floor? Do you really think he's upset that you didn't answer your phone 5 times? He felt like you weren't available to him or would plug it into your relationship. Someone told me, so there are certain arguments. This was her piece of marriage advice to me. Just so you know, there are certain arguments that will always come up in a marriage and they never go away. Right? Do you agree with that?
Sorry, what did you say?
Someone told me there are certain arguments that will always come up in a marriage and they never go away. It's just like the reality. Certain relationships, this will always be an argument. Rachel.
It means you're not dealing with the issue if it keeps coming up over and over again.
I mean, why does it keep coming up? You're not dealing with it?
Maybe you're not dealing with the core issue,
what's actually beneath this issue. I like it. Yeah.
Some things are a bit out of your control, like in-laws or I don't know.
So that's a good example. Yeah.
Maybe if you're if the argument is about the other person, something that they're doing, and it's something that you bring up, and it's something that they have to work on. And either they're not working on it or they are working on it, but it takes a long time to change and it can come up a lot.
And you can continuously get frustrated by it?
Right.
Okay, but what you're saying is true, but there's definitely is a higher way. Meaning, let's use the example of in-laws. So I agree with the idea that there are certain topics that are always hot topics. In Israel, politics are always a hot topic, okay? Just don't bring them up with the old men playing shesh besh in the shuk, okay? There are certain topics that I do agree that they're always a hot topic in families, okay? It could be in-laws. But if it's always an argument, I agree with Rachel. Either that means you didn't get to the underlying, what's actually underneath it, or you didn't deal with it. Doesn't mean the issue is solved. Your in-laws can still be annoying. Your mother-in-law still doesn't get you, or your father-in-law is crazy, or they never give you help, whatever it is. The issue can still be there. But how do you approach the issue, right? I mean, it can very well be, and if you feel like there are certain things that are always an issue, so then avoid that conversation. There's no need to constantly dig at it. Women like to do that. Of let's really work it out this time for real. This time we're actually going to work it out. If you know it's an issue and you're having a nice date in the park, just don't bring it up. And women specifically have this, we have this great gift of, you know, just like change the topic, right? Like ask him about his day, what did he learn today? Just kind of like get around it. To say that there are certain things that will always be an argument, I do not think that has to be true. Is there conflict in marriage? For sure. There are two people who are each coming with their little, we call it like the little teak, their own little bag, how they grew up, how they like their towels folded, you know, what their childhood was like, what their mother was like, how they cooked, what the house smelled like. Okay, and now he has that in his bag, and she has that in her bag, and now let's come home, spill the bag all over the carpet, and let's make this work together, right? So conflict for sure comes out. That's not the question. The question is now, how do we deal with that conflict? In-laws can always be the issue. You hope money's not an issue. Don't ever let money interfere with a relationship. That's just a silly thing to ruin a marriage on, right? But in-laws or how he spends his money, whatever it is, can always be an issue. But how are you approaching that issue? You hear what I'm saying? It can be, are you getting upset about it? It could be like, sweetheart, I respect your opinion, and I know you respect mine. I just feel like every time we go down this path, which is like not necessarily the best one, I get it. It's okay, let's agree to disagree, right? But it doesn't always have to be a fight, because that means you're adults. Whenever I hear that people are fighting, like roommates are fighting, or couples are fighting, right? It's always like funny to me, meaning we're adults. We should know how to communicate. We're not Hillary and Donald. We should know how to communicate. We should know how to speak to each other with respect. So you should be able to communicate with the other person how you want that to be. We have 2 more minutes. Let's speed through this. Okay. Show respect for the other person's opinion. Never say you're wrong. Right? You know, who do we pass in, like Beis Hillel or Beis Shammai? We're familiar with the two schools of thought, Hillel and Shammai? Have we heard of Hillel and Shammai before? Okay, we heard of Hillel and Shammai. Okay, so anyways, we paskin like Beis Hillel. We paskin like Beis Hillel. Why do we paskin like Beis Hillel? Says the Gemara. Because they listened to Beis Shammai's opinions first, and then they expressed their own opinion, right? Beis Shammai always spoke first, Beis Hillel always listened first, right? And even though they disagreed with each other, the Gemara tells us their children married each other. Their daughters and sons married each other, right? So never use the words never, always, and you're wrong. It's just a very powerful, strong word that the moment you say that, it's like those cats. Seems to be a conversation in this classroom. Cats that, like, when they hear noise or they smell food, you know, like their ears go up. It's like really cute. Their ears just go up. So the moment you say you're wrong, it's like, no, I'm not. And I'll tell you why I'm not wrong, right? 15, if you're wrong, admit it quickly and emphatically. We can speak about that forever, but we won't, because we spoke about it quite a lot. And 16 is let the other person save face. Tamar and Yehuda. We're familiar with the story of Tamar and Yehuda, the daughter-in-law who she dressed up like a harlot to be with her father-in-law Yehuda. We don't have time to say the whole story, but she basically dressed up to be like a harlot, and the father-in-law was with her, and she got pregnant. People said, Yehuda, I know the Torah is wild, right? They said, Yehuda, your daughter-in-law, she slept with someone, we have to kill her, she did something wrong. And they went to the whole town square, and they said, she's going to die. And you know what she did? She took the ring, and she said, because he gave her a ring as ransom in the meantime, until he paid her for her service. And she said, whoever ring this is, then this is the child within me, right? And Yishai and Yehuda right away said, don't kill her. And she didn't say, that man over there, right? That man over there, he's the one who got me pregnant. Whoever this is, you know whose it is. I'll finish with this. I was in high school. We're on a bus, and we were going on a school trip. And one of the girls, like I was sitting in the back with my friends, and one of the girls, she just like wildly threw something out the window of the bus, like these like chartered yellow school buses, and they stopped the bus in the middle of the highway, and they said, whoever threw that out the window, come to the front, which is such a mean thing to do. So we all like look at each other like, is she gonna have to really do that whole walk of shame? And so me, my sister, my older sister, and a friend of mine, we're all really close. We just quickly looked at each other, and we all go to the front. My sister's like, I did it. And I'm like, no, really, I did it. And my friend's like, I did it. And the three of us said we did it. And they took us off the bus. They're like, who did it? We're like, I don't know, I did it. And they didn't know what to do with that. They're just like, whoever did that, don't do that again. And like the bus continued driving, they didn't know what to do with it, right? So when you're speaking to someone, when you're criticizing someone, let the other person save face in the sense of, don't leave them now like, wallowing in their, oh, you're right, I am a bad boyfriend, or I am a bad sister, or I never do that, right? Give them the opportunity to look good for themselves, give them the opportunity to feel good. With that being said, I know we rushed, but I wanted to move on from this topic. If you have any other questions, bring it up next class Thursday in the beginning, and we'll speak about it. Have a wonderful day, everyone.